All right. Hey everyone, thank you for those who've joined live. Thank you for the ones who listen to the recording. This is our chanting session for the week, and we have two more sessions after this left. So, for those who are listening to the recording, do try and join live for the next time if you can. I know with the daylight savings, the time has changed in India, and that might make it a little hard for some of you, but hope you can join. If not, there will be the recording, of course. So today, we've been doing a lot of chants, which we've explored. Today, I wanted to explore a particular discourse from Buddha, which is a sutta, like they say, and it's also a chant. So when I heard it first, I was very much impressed with it in the sense that it was a beautiful chant to listen to, and also such a it was so beautifully structured and had such deep meaning. And so I wanted to share. It's almost like firstly, it's like there's a story to it, and then there is the chant and the whole meaning, and so many layers of meaning. So I thought we'll explore that today because yeah, I thought in this course I'll explore that sutta, so it's a good opportunity to do that. Um, so I'll first talk about the chant and talk about the sutta literally, and talk about the meaning, and then I'll do the chant so that you can probably it'll be easier to appreciate it. I don't know what's the better way because I feel like chants have their own energy, and you don't need to necessarily know the meaning for them to have their impact. But maybe in this case, it's good to first explore the meaning. So I'll just share. Okay, let me first share the story. So, the story goes that the Buddha was enlightened at a certain point, right? He was exploring since he saw, like, he was, as you know, you may have heard the story that he was protected. They predicted that either, he could become a great sage, or so his king, and he was a prince, so the his father did not want that, and so he was very, very protected, and he was only allowed to see good things in his life. And so at some point he happens to stray beyond the town where it's all kept perfect, right, within the town. So he goes out of town and he sees he sees old age, he sees disease, and so he's very much moved by it, and he then takes off to explore what life is about, what this is all about. And so he goes and finds many teachers, many paths, and he finally lands on this, what he calls the middle path, right? And then at a certain point, once he says, okay, it's not about starving your body and being so ascetic, it's neither about indulgence, so it's that middle path. So he finally, there's this lady who offers him this bowl of kheer, and he has that. And then he's said to have gone and sat under the Bodhi tree and gotten enlightened, right? So after his enlightenment, he starts to. There were five other monks that he had been practicing with while he was on this journey to find the truth, and then starts to give discourses to them because they realize that okay, he has figured this out, and so he starts to share with them this truth. So he has to figure out how to share this. Such a subtle discovery is made about the nature of reality, the nature of life, and he's thinking, how do I share this, right? And so I feel like these discourse, or even if he's not spoken about this in exactly the way it is now passed down to us, it's a beautiful structure and a beautiful way to explain it. And I feel like a lot of the Buddha's teachings are like that, and even our Vedic teachings for that matter. So I feel like when I see that it's so beautifully arranged in certain logic, and I think it appeals to some part of my brain too. So, um, yeah, so that's how the sutta goes. So it says that the Buddha is resting in this forest, and he calls these five monks, and they come and they listen to him talk about this, right? So that's how it goes. So let's see this. So this is called the Anattalakhana Sutta. Hey Pravina, thanks for joining. So we're doing this slightly different session today where we're going to explore a particular discourse by the Buddha. There's a chant in it, but I wanted to explore the meaning along with this chant. So that's what we're doing. We just started. I was giving some backstory about the Buddha. Sorry, hold on. Okay. So this is called the Anattalakhana Sutta. So the anatta means not self, right? So the Buddha's three teachings are dukkha. He said this samsara is full of dukkha. Anything here is leads to there's a lot of suffering here. And then anicca, and the reason is because that it's impermanent. And the way out is to realize this idea of who you are, right? Like about the fact that Nanatta means literally means not self, right? The body mind that we think we are, that's not who we are, right? So that's the idea of anatta. And so this is where he tries to explain that concept. So let's see. So he's saying that he was resting in Varanasi in the deer grove, and he addresses the five bhikkhus, the five monks, and he says that so he addresses this is also called unzipping the five aggregates, right? There are five aggregates are rupa, which is form, and vedana, which is feelings, and sanya is uh, perceptions, and intention is sankhara, and vijnana is consciousness, the individuated consciousness. So these are the five aggregates. So he goes on to say how he says you are not the form, because if you were the form would listen to you, right? You cannot say right now that okay, stay this way, do not age for this body, for example. We can't say don't age, don't change. It's ever changing, and you don't have any control over it. Same with the feelings. Different feelings come to your mind. You cannot always say let me have only good feelings. Same with intentions. You can't always say let me have only good intentions. I mean, if you could, you would, but clearly you don't have that control. So same with consciousness as well, and perceptions. Let me always perceive things in a good way, right? And same with individuated consciousness. So you cannot say, there's no control you have over that as well. So, um, and it's ever changing. So he says, this is ever changing and you have no control over it. So why do you say that this is me, right? So he says, uh, declare that this is not me, right? He says it's wrong to say this is mine, I am this, and this is myself. So that's what he's saying, that, it's impermanent and it doesn't listen to you, it's subject to change. And so say, declare that it's not me, right? This is not mine, I am not this, and this is not myself. So whatever it is, the form, be it of past, present, or future, gross or subtle, inferior or exalted, far or near, just declare that this is not me and this is not mine and this is not myself, right? So same for the feelings, same for perceptions and intentions, and for the consciousness. So it is said that the five monks who listened to this discourse were freed from all these five aggregates and they were enlightened at that point. So that's how the sutta ends. So it says that um, they got disenchanted with the form, disenchanted with the feeling, disenchanted with perceptions, intentions, and consciousness. And through this, the holy life was lived. And so there was nothing more that bound them, right? So they were free. They were eternally free after that. So yeah, their chitta, their life force was liberated after that. So that's the sutta. So it's quite beautiful how it's explained. Let me share this nice. Hold on. I'd made this when I first heard this. I'd made this nice infographic. So to share that with you. It's just I can put it in the group as well. Let me just share it. So if you see this, so he talks about the five aggregates. Hold on. So the 5 things he's addressing are form, feelings, perceptions, intentions, and consciousness, right? The consciousness is nothing but that which is conscious of form, like you're aware, right? And so even this, we think our awareness is something that we should be able to, that's what you associate with. But even that, you cannot always say, I always want to stay mindful or conscious, right? So even that, how can you say? He says, if you're not, if it doesn't listen to you, how do you say that that is yourself, right? So, so the first section, first, what he does is he says, this is not you because you don't have any say in it. You cannot say always be a certain way to your form or to your feelings, always be pleasant. You cannot say always see things a certain way for your perceptions. You cannot say always have good intentions. Neither can you say always be conscious and mindful. So he says none of this is worthy of being called the self, right? And then he says, do you believe that this form is permanent or is it changing? So he asks the monks, right? So they say, no, it is forever changing. So he says, attaching to that which is changing and saying, this is me, will only lead to affliction and suffering. Same for each of this. He does this with each of this, where he says, if you say this is me for the thing that keeps changing, like your feelings or your perceptions or that individuated consciousness, it's only going to lead to affliction and suffering because it is forever changing and it is not permanent. So you're attaching to something that is forever changing, doesn't listen to you. And so he says, for all the forms of the past, present, and future, subtle and gross, inside or outside, near and far, he says, this includes everything and says, just declare that it's not me, it's not mine, and not me, not I, right? Through direct, and he says, know this through direct experience and clear insight. He's not saying just listen to me, right? He says, check for yourself. Is it permanent or is it not permanent? Is it, are you able to, is it something that listens to you? Can you say that, stay this way, stay only this way and not the other way? And you have no control over it. So he says, check this with clear knowing and experience it with clear knowing and direct insight. And so he says, just declare that this is not, none of this is me, right? So it's a pretty powerful discourse and had the power to completely enlighten those 5 monks who listened to it. This is the second discourse of the Buddha. All right, so now we'll do the chanting. And I'll share this so you can see the chant if you want. Hold on. So just getting to this page. Okay. All right. Now you can just tune in. Like I said, as much as the words and the meaning have made an impact, they do what they do. And I think the chant is also equally powerful and goes beyond our logical mind and works at a different level. So you can just tune in. Evam me sitan. Okay, let me start with the chant. नमो तस् अरहतो भगवतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस् अरहतो भगवतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस् अरहतो भगवतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स एवं मे सुतन् एकं समयं भगवा वाराणस्यन् विहरति इसिपतने मिगदाय तत्र को भगवा पंचवग्ये भिक्खु आमन्तेसि रूपं भिक्खवे अनत्ता रूपं च इदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभ्भविस्सा नैदं रूपम् आबाधाय संवत्तेय लभता च रूपे एवं मे रूपं होतु एवं मे रूपं मा अहोसीति। यस्माच्च को भिक्खवे रूपम् अनत्ता तस्मा रूपम् आबाधाय संवत्तति। न च लभति रूपे एवं मे रूपं होतु एवं मे रूपं मा अहोसीति। वेदना अनत्ता वेदना च इदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभ्भविस्स नैदं वेदना आबाधाय संवत्तय्य। लभता च वेदनाय एवं मे वेदना होतु एवं मे वेदना मा अहोसीति। यस्माच्च को भिक्खवे वेदना अनत्ता तस्मा वेदना आबाधाय संवत्तति। न च लभते वेदनाय एवं मे वेदना होतु एवं मे वेदना मा अहोसीति। संज्ञा अनत्ता संज्ञा च इदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभ्भविस्स न इदं संज्ञा आबाधाय संवत्तेय। लभता च संज्ञाय एवं मे संज्ञा होतु एवं मे संज्ञा मा अहोसीति। यस्माच्च को भिक्खवे संज्ञा अनत्ता तस्मा संज्ञा आबाधाय संवत्तति। न च लभति संज्ञाय एवं मे संज्ञा होतु एवं मे संज्ञा मा अहोसीति। संखारा अनत्ता संखारा च हितं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभ्भविस्स नैदं संखारा आबाधाय संवत्तेयं। लभता च संखारेषु एवं मे संखारा होतु एवं मे संखारा मा अहिसन्ति। यस्माच्च को भिक्खवे संखारा अनत्ता तस्मा संखारा आबाधाय संवत्तन्ति। न च लभति संखारेषु एवं मे संखारा होन्तु एवं मे संखारा मा अहिसन्ति। विज्ञानम् अनत्ता विज्ञानं च इदं भिक्खवे अत्ता अभ्भविस्स नैदं विज्ञानम् आबाधाय संवत्तेय। लभता च विज्ञाने एवं मे विज्ञानं होतु एवं मे विज्ञानं मा अहोसीति। यस्माच्च को भिक्खवे विज्ञानम् अनत्ता तस्मा विज्ञानम् आबाधाय संवत्तति। न च लभति विज्ञाने एवं मे विज्ञानं होतु एवं मे विज्ञानं मा अहोसीति। तं किं मन्यत् भिक्खवे रूपं नित्यं वा अनित्यं वाति। अनित्यं भन्ते यं प्रणानित्यं दुःखं वा तं सुखं वाति। दुःखं भन्ते यं प्रणानित्यं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लन्नुतं समनुपस्थितम्। एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति। नो हि तं भन्ते। तं किं मन्यत् भिक्खवे वेदनानिच्छा वा अनिच्छा वाति। अनिच्छा भन्ते यं प्रणानित्यं दुःखं वा तं सुखं वाति। दुःखं भन्ते यं प्रणानित्यं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लन्नुतं समनुपस्थितम्। एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति। नो हि तं भन्ते। तं किं मन्यत् भिक्खवे संज्ञानिच्छा वा अनिच्छा वाति। अनिच्छा भन्ते यं प्रणानित्यं दुःखं वा तं सुखं वाति। दुःखं भन्ते यं प्रणानित्यं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लन्नुतं समनुपस्थितम्। एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति। नो हि तं भन्ते। तं किं मन्यत् भिक्खवे संखारानिच्छा वा अनिच्छा वाति। अनिच्छा भन्ते यं प्रणानित्यं दुःखं वा तं सुखं वाति। दुःखं भन्ते यं प्रणानित्यं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लन्नुतं समनुपस्थितम्। एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति। नो हि तं भन्ते। तं किं मन्यत् भिक्खवे विज्ञानं नित्यं वा अनित्यं वाति। अनिच्छा भन्ते यं पणानित्यं दुःखं वातं सुखं वाति दुःखं बन्ते यं पणानित्यं दुःखं विपरिणामधम्मं कल्लन्नूतं समनुपस्थितम् एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि एषो मे अत्ताति नो हि तन्बन्ते तस्मात्तिह भिक्खवे या किञ्चिरूपम् अतीतनागतपच्चुपन्ना अच्युतं वा बहिता वा ओलारिका वा सुखमा वा हीना वा प्रणीता वा या दूरे सन्ति केव सब्बं रूपम् इतं मम नितो न इतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि नामेषो वत्ताति एवमेतं यथा भूतं सम्मापन्याय दट्टभन् या केच वेदना अतीतनागतपच्चुपन्ना अज्जत्ता वा बहित्था वा ओलारिका वा सुखमा वा हीना वा पणिता वा या दूरे सन्ति केव सब्बा वेदना एतं मम एषोऽहमस्मि नामेषो वत्ताति एवमेतं यथा भूतं सम्मापन्याय दट्टभन् या काचि संज्ञा अतीतनागतपच्चुपन्ना अज्जत्ता वा बहित्ता वा ओलारिका वा सुखमा वा हीना वा पणिता वा या दूरे सन्ति खेव सब्बा संज्ञा इतं मम तं मम नयसोऽस्मि नामेषो वत्ताति एवमेतं यथा भूतं सम्मापन्याय दट्टभन् ये केचि संखारा अतीतनागतपच्चुपन्ना अज्जत्ता वा बहिद्धा वा ओलारिका वा सुखमा वा हीना वा पणिता वा या दूरे सन्ति केव सब्बे संखारा नितं मम निसोऽहमस्मि नामेषो वत्ताति एवमेतन्यथा भूतं सन्नापन्याय दट्टभन् या किञ्चिन्ज्ञानम् अतीतनागतपच्चुपन्नम् अज्जत्तं वा बहिद्धा वा ओलारिकं वा सुखमं वा हीनं वा पणितं वा या दूरे सन्ति खेव सब्बं विज्ञानं नेतं मम नेसोऽहमस्मि नामेषो वत्ताति एवमेतं यथा भूतं सम्मापन्याय दट्टभन् एवं पस्सं भिक्खवे सुत्वा अर्यसावको रूपस्मिन्पि निब्बन्दति वेदनायापि निब्बन्दति संज्ञायापि निब्बन्दति संखारेषुपि निब्बन्दति विज्ञानस्मिन्पि निब्बन्दति निबिदं विरज्यति विरागविमुच्यति विमुक्तस्मिन् विमुक्तम् इति ज्ञानं होति क्षीणा जाति वसितं ब्रह्मचर्यन् कथं करणीयं न परमित्तत्तायाति पजानातीति इदमवोच भगवा आत्मना पञ्चवज्ञा भिक्खु भगवतो भासितम् अभिनन्दम् इमस्मिन् च पणव्ययाकरणस्मिन् भन्यमाने पञ्चवज्ञानां भिक्खूनाम् अनुपादाय आसावेहि चित्तानि विमुच्यं सूते साधु साधु साधु. All right. So that was the Anattalakhana Sutta. It's beautiful. You'll see that it's repeating, right? Just as I showed you in that infographic, he's saying the same thing over and over to say, he asks the same questions over and over. First, he says, does it listen to you? Does your form listen to you? Do your feelings listen to you? Do your intentions, your perceptions, your consciousness, do any of these things listen to you? So how do you declare it as yourself, right? And then he goes on repeating that, and then he says, okay, they don't listen to you. And then he says, okay, are they permanent? Like, is any of this permanent? And if it is not permanent, attaching to something like that, does it bring suffering or fulfillment? And so they say, no, it's suffering. Of course, it's suffering. So again, like, it's almost like he's drilling that concept into your mind, like you're repeating the same thing and you're saying, yeah, no, it's not me, it doesn't listen to me, it doesn't listen to me. And then he says, declare that it's not you, right? So what a powerful way to structure it in such a simple and such a deep truth to reveal in such a simple discourse. Like I felt like it's so beautifully said. And so when I first heard this, I heard this through my teacher Nitya, and so the first time he shared this, it was through, he was also making us go through a meditation. I just heard this chant and it had such an impact on me. I was like, what is this, right? It's so powerful, and I was so drawn to it and felt like learning it at that point and memorizing it. It's been a few years though, so I had suddenly remembered it again, and I wanted to sort of share it with all of you as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Any questions? Anything anyone has to say? Happy to take it. And I know some of you are traveling, so you might just be listening in. Hey, Pravina, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Smitha. Yeah, that was very nice. That was beautiful. Thank you. Did
Yeah.
we do this before?
No, we haven't done this in this
Okay.
course.
Okay.
Yeah, I had this in my mind that we'll do this. We've
Okay.
explored a few chants. We did something similar. So we explored
Yes.
the Upadesha Sara from Ramana Maharshi, which was also, oh my God, that's also so powerful.
Yes.
Yeah. In just a set of verses, he says the whole essence of his teaching. So pretty deep. Yeah, that was on my mind, and these two things I wanted to cover during this course. So I thought we're almost at the end.
Okay. That's
This is a
great.
good
Yes.
time to like cover this. So I'll share the link with you and the meaning and even the picture I had made. So it's good if you want to revisit it.
Okay. Yeah, that will be great.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. So that was our slightly different session today. The next time I think we'll do some more chants and prayers. So yeah. All right. See you everyone.
See you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.